Just save that. So back to my instructions now. I've saved my image NXBAC3 and I've taken a screenshot of the evidence of the file size. Next instruction is to open the image NXBoard1 JPG in a suitable application. This is going to be manipulated before being placed on the page. Okay. So NXBoard1, let's close this file and open our paper 3 files again. I've got my 3 background files now already changed. You can see the resolutions of these files as smaller. There's NXBoard1. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open with Adobe Photoshop. So there's the image I've got there. And the instructions tell me to crop off the right side of the image so that it is 400 pixels wide and 1000 pixels high, and then save the image as nxboard2.jpg. Then show the evidence of this document you called in evidence in step 1. Okay. So if I go to my crop tool here, and if I click and drag, I get this counter that increases and decreases. But as you can see, it's currently measuring the size of the crop that I'm setting in centimetres. So that doesn't enable me very easily, as I increase the width there, you can see it going from 15 to 13 to 12, 11 centimetres and so on and so forth. But my instructions told me it should be 400 pixels wide and 1000 pixels high. So that's not very easy to monitor. I don't know how many pixels are in a centimetre. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to cancel. And I'm going to change the settings of my Adobe Photoshop to enable me to measure in pixels. So I'm going to go to Adobe Photoshop Elements up here and I'm going to go into the Preferences and I'm going to open their General Preferences. And the 2 things that I'm going to change are here where it says Units and Rulers and Guides and Grids. If I go to Units and Rulers, I'm going to change the ruler's guide from centimetres to pixels, and this will automatically give me measurements in pixels rather than in centimetres. I'm going to again change the type to pixels. I'm going to do the same thing in guides and grids, changing the grid line to pixels. When I press OK now, this time when I click and drag with the crop, I can see my information in pixels. Okay, so the height there is 1000 pixels. We've nearly got, there we go, a height 1000 with a width of 400. That's what we were asked for. So I can let that go, okay, and I can press enter to reduce it. Now the thing is, perhaps I didn't get it exact, so I've just undone what I've done. I've made a Command Z to undo. Maybe I had it as about 403 or 404 and I couldn't get it exactly to that. So I can drop it at that stage and then I can be more specific just in dragging in one direction. So this will allow me to be a little bit more specific in the sizes that I'm dragging. Okay, so again I wanted a print screen of my cropping tool, so I'm going to print screen that here. And then I'm going to press enter and there's my new cropped image. So my instruction says, after I've cropped the side of the image so that I only have 400 by 1000 pixels, save this image as NXBoard2. Okay, so I'm going to go to File and Save As, and in the same folder as everything else I'm going to save NXBoard2. Save. Okay, and again close. So my next instruction says, using a suitable software package, open the file nxsnow.htm. Okay, well, what kind of software package opens a HTML file? HTML, okay, like HTML, is the language that is used to write websites, hypertext markup language. So this, I know, is a web page. So I'm going to open HTML files in Dreamweaver. So I start by opening Dreamweaver down here, and I should be able to see all of the files that I set up when I managed my site last week. If I can't see all of my files that I set up when I managed my site, go to Site and go to Manage Sites and find the site that you managed and click Done, and it should refresh the images so that you can see all of those resources that should be in that file. If you just can't see this window, for example, you can see CSS Designer or Selector or Media's Property, etc., you want to go to the Windows option here and you want to tick the box for the Insert window. So that allows me to actually see my file selections here. So the piece of software that I'm opening, or the file that I'm opening, is the nxsnow.htm, which is there. So all I need to do is double click on that particular file and it will open up. There's my nxsnow.jpg. Okay. Now you can notice here that I have the settings as a coded split background. Okay, so if I wanted to just see the code, I can go here. If I want to see split, I can see both the design and the code here. And I need to make sure that I'm not looking at the live view. Okay, if I'm looking at the live view, it's a lot more complicated to do editing. So I want to be able to see my tables and my borders and everything else. So not live, you should see the design view like this. Okay, so with the design view selected, okay, I'm going to go back to my instructions now. And it says replace the text, candidate name, centre number, and candidate number with your name, centre number, and candidate number. That's easy enough. So last edited by Miss Gettle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's quite difficult to read that colour writing on that background, but I'm sure we'll edit that shortly. Next instruction says change the HTML code so that the image NXBoard2 is 150 pixels wide and maintains its aspect ratio. Okay, so here is the NXBoard2 image that we edited earlier. Okay, and this edit that we did in Photoshop has automatically changed in this because this code is looking in the file that we saved it to. So that's looking for the updated saved image that we made earlier. So if I go to my code down here, with the image selected, my image will be highlighted in my code. If I don't have the image selected, that bit won't be highlighted in my code. So I know where I'm looking. I click on the image and it will highlight it in my code. So this is the image code for this picture. I've got an open tag, image search equals nxboard2.jpg. Inside that tag, so after the name of the image, but before the tag closes with the greater than symbol, I'm going to add a size instruction to this particular code. And I'm going to add a width. I'm going to say width equals 150 px, meaning pixels. If I just change the width, the height will automatically change in proportion to the width. Whereas if I also type in now height equals, then it will change to a set height that I want. But I don't want that. I want it to change in proportion to the width change. That means that it keeps the aspect ratio. So this instruction here, width equals 150 px stands for pixels. And that's been added to the image. So now, when I click out of my code and back onto my website, okay, the image has resized and the table resizes around it.